The UCL dream, it didn't come true. What should Arsenal do? And how do they advance from this, man? And how does little bro become big bro? But more so, and this is where it gets really important. Should Arteta still stay? If he should, why? Look, I still believe Arsenal had a chance. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone wants to believe. When they say reverse drinks and everything, I don't care. Now, am I happy that Arsenal don't have a chance of winning the UCL? Of course I am. Because I need them to still be little bro, especially how Chelsea have been. But trying to be objective here, of course Arsenal had a chance. And if you looked at those first 10 minutes, you could see how they had a chance to say what's up. They had a chance to say what's up. But here's the key thing. And this is what our dear friend needs to understand is a big reason why they lost was our first leg. Losing that first leg and coming into that second leg, it's made things difficult, you know. And here's the thing, look, I was just doing it for context of like, oh, imagine if Saka had scored, what would that have been? Saka is the last person that should be blamed. He is the last person that should be blamed. Because at least he did something and he showed up. If you were to say, okay, have fault, go to analyze it. Name one, be a Sith. Be a Sith. What is the main reason Arsenal lost this tie to PSG? A main reason they lost this tie was Arteta. And it's on a much larger level. And this will bleed into his courts, which we'll get into, and why I think he should be sacked. But just to focus on this is, it's not just this game, it's everything. It's recruitment. It's the team you have. It's the bench you have. This thing called football, tactics, strategy, micromanagement, at the end of the day, it's down to players. What did you see in that second leg? You saw Fabian Ruiz as an individual, when PSG were under pressure, produce something. What did you see in the first leg? You saw an individual in Ousmane Dembele do something combined with Kivicha. You have to get individuals who can do individual things, not just robots who can fit into your robotic, systematic way of playing football. And which is the issue we're seeing with football right now, where people are hiring robots instead of ballers, instead of individuals. What I want is a two-flex. I want you to listen to instructions, carry out a plan. But there are times where I want you to look at me and say, screw you, screw your plan, grab my clipboard, break it in half, and do something off your own back that I don't expect. That's what I want from a player who knows when to listen to instructions, but also knows when not to listen to instructions and just do things off their own back and produce some piece of individual magic. And for us, and bro, you're chasing a game. 20 minutes to go. What is Benjamin White going to do to help you get back in the game? What is Kala, Fiori, Miori, Tiori, Siori, Liori, Paiori, Calatiori going to do to help you win the freaking game? You're trying to get back in the game. Where is the attacker? Where is the goal scorer? Where is the extra attacker? Where is the extra man inside the box to try to add more pressure, another option in an attack? But it's this new wave of like, no, but the defender can do this because the defender has a thing, because we've used our data analysis of the E equals MC squared, of the Pythagoras theorem, of the algebra squared, of the first outer inner four. Football is complicated, but also it's not. There are things in football that are complex, but other things in football which is just that, I want to get back in the game. throw in another attacker and another body that offers another option to help Saka when he's in the attack. And that's the issue we have here with your boy Arteta. And for Arsenal, I think, because once we look back at this, here's my thing. People, Arsenal fans, you'll attack me for this. You need to win the Champions League. Because I was saying to myself that when you look at all the big clubs that have massive fan bases, think of Liverpool, you think of Man United, you think of Real Madrid, you think of Barcelona, you think of Bayern Munich, you think of AC Milan. I'd like to throw Chelsea in there, but you guys will attack me in the comments. But I'll throw Chelsea in there. You abuse me in the comments. We think of all these clubs that have massive fan bases. All the clubs I mentioned, what do they have in common? They've won a Champions League. And I just find it odd that Arsenal, who are one of the most supported clubs in the world, and I'll say right now, Arsenal is way more popular than Chelsea. Of course they are. Like, I'd be stupid to say, oh, no, but no. Arsenal are one of the most popular clubs and the most supported clubs globally, 100%. But you need a UCL. Sorry, bruv. I mean, you need a UCL. Because, yeah, that's it. Shut up, Starbucks, baby. You need it. And I think that is why you saw a lot of Arsenal players in tears, because they knew they had a chance of reaching that final. Because again, I said that the match in the league phase that was different, and this was always going to be different from the match in the league phase because there was no Dembele, there was no Vicha. But I think that them even thinking that this is a team that we already beat and we lost to these guys twice. That will hurt and now a pain. And I think that you look at the fact that Arsenal have only been to one UCL final. You look at the fact that they've never won the Champions League. And I'll get there. This was not their best chance to win the Champions League. This 06 thing was not their best chance. Because, see, in 06 was a crazy run, an amazing beat them against Real Madrid. It would have been a massive win beating that Rijkaard Barcelona. Because everyone knew that Rijkaard Barcelona were the favourites and Ronaldinho was on crazy, although Eto said what's up. But I think that Arsenal need to win the Champions League. And there's no Arsenal fan that can tell me otherwise. I don't want to hear about all your league titles and all the league trophies you won and all the FA Cups you won. I don't care about that crap. The biggest trophy in club football is the Champions League. That's just how it is. It doesn't work any other way. The Champions League is bigger than your FA Cup. It's bigger than your Copa del Rey. It's bigger than a DFB Pokal. It's bigger than your Bundesliga, your Serie, your Ligue 1, your Premier League. 50 Premier Leagues does not equate to one UCL. 100 FA Cups does not equate to one UCL. One UCL is one UCL. It's the Champions League. It is the trophy of the leagues. It is the biggest trophy in club football. And every player who plays in club football, you want there are three trophies you want to win. 3 trophies you want to win in football, and this is the trophies you want to win the most. The Champions League, your Continental Trophy, that be your AFCON, your Euro, your Copa America, your Gold Cup, your Asia Cup, and of course, the daddy of them all, the World Cup. Those are the 3 trophies that every professional player wants to win. Obviously, you want to win your league, but those are the main ones. Champions League, your Continental Cup, and the World Cup. Arsenal, you have to win the Champions League. You simply have to. And the reality of the matter is, because see, if Henry had won this, he's a legend. And Henry he knows this. Henry is an Arsenal fan. Now, Henry, personally speaking, he knows that, I calculated the set and I rode the bandwagon that was driven by Messi and Etso, who gifted me that UCL in 08-09. But Henry knew that I win that Champions League for Arsenal, I am an even greater legend. I'm already a legend. I already have a statue. But imagine if Henry, playing the way he played, scoring that goal he scored against Real Madrid, had done something in that final that gave Arsenal, we are looking at Henry differently. We already know about how Henry performs in finals. Imagine if Henry scored the winning goal to give Arsenal their very first Champions League. Forget about him being an Arsenal legend. the way we talk about Henry is he truly is one of the greatest strikers of all time. Because that would be a feat that would put him into a category of one of the greatest players of all time if he was able to do that. This was their best chance. This was their best chance. Shout out to one and read. But this was because you have to remember this was Arsenal's best team. This was the Invincibles. This was where I remember Deportivo La Coruña knocked out AC Milan. I believe Monaco knocked out Real Madrid. Barca went out early. So I think if Arsenal had beaten Chelsea, they would have played, I believe it was Monaco in the next round, I believe, who knocked us out, Charles Morientes. And Arsenal would have played FC Porto in the final. Now, I would have picked Mourinho. But if you're the Invincibles and you're Arsenal and you're that team, I think you'd be very confident facing FC Porto in the Champions League final. So it wasn't really 06. It was 03-04 was Arsenal's best chance to win the Champions League. That was their best chance to win it. And I think that once they didn't win it this time, it was like, when will be their better time? Because Arsenal have not had a team as good as that Invincibles team. And as good as, unless this team, and this the scenario, hence why this was so bad, because I believe Arsenal fans know that was their year. Because you didn't have to face Barca, you didn't have to face Real, you didn't have to face AC Milan, the three juggernauts. And all you have to do is beat an FC Porto in the final. Oh, that was their chance. If Arsenal had beaten PSG, they're not beating Inter Milan. I can guarantee you right now, if Arsenal had made their way to the UCL final, there is no way they're beating that Inter Milan team. So you have to take your chance when your chance comes, you know. So now let's come to the daddy himself right now. Do we want to be like? Do we want to be to be real? Do we want to be real now? Do we want to be real now? If we want to be real, he has to be sacked. You sack Arteta. What progress have Arsenal made? What has Arteta achieved? Second place is not an achievement. Now, Arsenal, if you're Scunthorpe or you're Tamworth, second place is an amazing achievement. That's superb. Give him 10 years. If you're Scunthorpe or you're Tamworth, last I checked, this ain't Tamworth or Scunthorpe. This is one of the most supported football clubs on this planet. Guys, Spike Lee, one of the greatest directors of all time, he's a massive Arsenal fan. So let's keep it a stack. For a club of this stature, with such a global fan base, being bridesmaids 3 times in a row is crazy. And guys, the way things are looking, they may miss out on being bridesmaids 3 times in a row. What has Arteta done that warrants him to remain at Arsenal? Someone needs to tell me. What has he done? Like, what has this guy done to warrant that he should remain at Arsenal? I don't get it. And let's compound it. So let me know. I want to know this out on basis. So I want to know this out. The best team lost, in my view, especially after 160 minutes. I'm saying that, and the PSG bench, are saying that because they just told me. All right, I want to break this down. I want to break this down. And Arteta, I want to break this to you. So there's so many aspects to this. So let's first talk about the PSG bench. You know when you win and you're hype, what do you say to the losing team? Man, you deserve to win, man. No, you deserve to win, man. Yeah. I'm going to the final, by the way. You're going home. Man, you deserved it, man. You were so unlucky. No, you were the better team. You were the better team. I won. You lost. I'm going to a UCL final. You're going back to Holloway Road. But man, you won, man. You won, man. Yeah, man. Because you're hype. And when you're hype, okay, you deserve to win. You were the better team. Who cares? We won. So for Arteta saying that the PSG players who have a chance of getting a Champions League winners medal said that you were the best team, the heck is that supposed to mean? So for Arteta to open his mouth and say that is so stupid. It is so idiotic. It is so sad. It is so pathetic that warrants him being sacked. That warrants him being sacked. I mean, that's just foolish. The other aspect, the best team lost. Here's the reality here. The best team wins matches. The best team wins the trophy. Whoever wins this Champions League was the best team. Now, the team that plays the best football doesn't always win. World Cup 06, I feel the team that played the best football was Argentina. But the best team was Spain. No, sorry. The best team was Italy because they won. World Cup 2010, I believe that the team that played the best football was Germany. But the best team was Spain, who won the World Cup. Now, I believe this was the AFCON 08, I believe. I think it was AFCON 08. I believe the team that played the best football was Ivory Coast. But the best team was Egypt because they won. Euro 2000. The team I believe that played the best football was the Netherlands. But the best team was France because they won. The best team wins. So whoever wins the Champions League will be the best team. Between PSG and Arsenal, the better team won because PSG won the game. Therefore, they were better. Now, the team that have played the best football is Barcelona, who want to win. So Barcelona will follow along the long line of many teams who played the best football that did not win the competition, because many times the team that plays the most attractive football doesn't win. Is Arteta going to open his mouth and say that his team played better football than Barcelona? Scratch that. Is Arteta really opening his mouth and say that he played better football than PSG? Now, we know that PSG were the better team because they won. But forget that. Arteta, are you saying that your light bulb psychology has told you that you played better football than PSG? Let's keep it real. Even if we take those first 10, 15 minutes where Arsenal were really impressive, they did, bro. The best football that was played across this entire time was the first 30 minutes by PSG in the first leg. That was the best display of football showed in this entire time. Hey, Arsenal, they had chances. They did their thing, but they didn't score. PSG, they scored. And they played, for me, a much higher level of technical football for those first 30 minutes in the first leg. So, for Arteta, what do you see? For Arteta, this is a display of fluent Japanese. It's simply a display of just absolute fluent Japanese. Arteta needs to be sacked because he's deluded, he's ignorant, his tactics are not proactive, he's obsessed with playing defenders as strikers, and he's not advanced. Now, I know what you guys are saying. Sack Arteta, but for who? Who's available? He's the best guy available. I knew you'd say this, guys. So, guys, I came prepared. So, these are the current available guys. So, let's go through it. Southgate, Yogi Love, international merchants now. And Cesar Ozlem, no. Would Ten Hag do a worse job than Arteta? Insult Ten Hag only once. I believe this guy walked away with 2 trophies of his own. Remember, Arteta's FA Cup trophy, that's not his. That's with another team. Ten Hag, I believe, got an FA Cup and the Karabuki with Man United. Are you going to really tell me that Ten Hag is going to be worse than Arteta? We move. Javi. Are you telling me that Javi will be worse than Arteta? Javi won a league title that most people thought would be won by Real Madrid with a very young Barcelona team. I am sorry, Xavi would be a categorical better option than Arteta. And the key thing for Xavi and for Erik ten Hag, they're coming in winning. We're having won trophies. One guy's won 2 trophies, another guy has won a league. Thiago Motta, I know he was a draw merchant with Juventus. Thiago Motta, I believe, is a better manager than Arteta. And he now has the experience of Bologna and whatever you want experience of Juventus. Okay, Mazzari, a bit too old. I think Marco Rose, tactically, can offer a lot more than Arteta. Yeah, it's been up and down, the whole Leipzig thing. But for me, tactically, I believe that he can offer a lot more things better tactically and strategically than your boy Arteta. Terzic. I think Terzic, that's like a lateral move. I think Terzic and Arteta can be similar. Okay, no, because there is no... I think Roger Schmidt is a better option. I think what Schmidt was doing with Benfica was good. And I think similar to Marco Rose, I think Schmidt tactically can offer Arsenal a lot more than what Arteta is doing, I believe. So as of right now, Ten Hag, Xavi, Motta, I believe are better options than Arteta. 100%. So this whole idea of like, oh, but there's no, there are people out there. And there are people that are available. And you cannot give me an argument as to why Arteta should still be kept. Because Arteta has not taken this team forward. He's not moved these guys forward. And with quotes like that, and with fluent garbage coming out of his mouth like that, even more so, you should sack him. So, I'll let you here. Arsenal. If you're happy with just competing and coming close, give Arteta a 10-year contract. But if you want to now take the next step to win the league and to win your very first Champions League, you have to sack him and bring in a manager with the fierce ambition who demands from these players and from the board a league title, a trophy, and a Champions League. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.